In our town, we know what we need. That's why at Bianchi Honda, we sell more CRVs than any other dealership sells all their vehicles combined. We are an SUV town, choosing the #1 rated SUV brand. Lease the 2019 CRV LX all-wheel drive for only $199 per month for 36 months. With over 2 million customers served, around here, we Honda.
Time now for the Gannon Lady Knights Coaches Show. He is the head coach, Jim Brunelli, live in studio. Coach, welcome back.
Hey, it's good to be here.
So, long trip this weekend, Millersville. Yeah, that's out there.
Yeah, that is. That is.
6 hours. That's the longest one. Do other conferences you've coached in do as much traveling?
Yeah, the South Atlantic when I was in it, we had to go up to Harrogate, Tennessee, where Lincoln Memorial was, and that was a pretty good haul for us. I mean, it wasn't overnight anyway. You looked at it, but yeah, there was some. And in Conference Carolinas, and the same thing. There were some trips out to like Barton and Mount Olive that were not as long as this one, but they were 4 hours or so. St. Andrews at the time was 4 hours and stuff like that. But yeah, that's part of the D2, and with our conference, we're spread out, so. To get over there, it takes a little bit. You
guys have trekked the globe here this season.
Yeah.
Almost, pretty literally.
Yeah, we have. We were just doing some, excuse me, community service this morning over at Mother Teresa's Academy, and we were doing, because it's Catholic Schools Week over there, and we did 2 sessions, and we had some time at one of the end, and some kids were asking some questions and asked, how far do you travel? And I'm like, you must have been looking at our schedule. We went to Fairbanks, Alaska, blah, 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 and got talking to that, and they were just like all
little kids?
Yeah, little kids.
Nice.
So they were all amazed, they were amazed. So, yeah, it's part of it, and kids get to see. That's what the great experience is. You have some kids who don't really get to travel a lot. And I know in my time as a coach, as an assistant or a head coach, sometimes you don't leave that tri-state area. When I was in South Carolina, it was North Carolina, Georgia. You don't get kids that leave.
Right.
You don't get kids that leave, and then all of a sudden you take them on a trip to Fairbanks, Alaska, and it blows their mind. You know what I mean? It's like, oh my gosh, they're in an airplane for the first time, that type of stuff. Now you're not really getting that where kids aren't on an airplane, but every now and then you come across someone who they just never had the opportunity yet. And that's what basketball does, man. It's taken me all over the world, and I wouldn't have gone to all those places without basketball, and appreciate it so much.
The community service aspect is so important too of the Division II experience, and I know that you're fulfilled by it, coaches, players, student athletes, but I don't think people realize that when I was in school, not in a college athletics program, I didn't have to do all that. I didn't have required hours, and there were still times, not enough, that I would volunteer when asked, but I mean, that's an important part of it. That's a well-rounded individual that you...
No, that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to put out well-rounded young ladies, and we're big on giving back to the community. We play a sport, like I've mentioned a million times, where we're recognizable. We don't have hats on. We don't have helmets. If we're standing in line at Chick-fil-A, people can say, oh my gosh, that's so-and-so on the women's basketball team. And so we try to get out in the community and give back, and know that we have a lot of young ladies in this city who look up to us, and who look up to the ladies, and we just try to give back because I think it's so important.
Really cool stuff. And I guess on the same note, or a similar note, I want to take you all the way back to Clarion.
Yeah.
We haven't talked since then. After this, we'll get to the basketball, but Clarion was the Pink Zone doubleheader.
Yeah.
And
which was postponed.
Right. Good point.
Yeah, and it was the radio show day, so that's why we couldn't talk.
And it was Clarion, your alma mater, coming to town. You're looking at 100th career victory potentially. Did you know that? Do you keep track of that? Somebody told you, right?
Yeah.
Right.
I had to do that. I don't keep track of those numbers.
Gotcha. More importantly, though, no disrespect, was the Pink Zone doubleheader festivities. And all the work that you and the entire staff puts in. I didn't realize. I mean, as far as the decorations, everything that's going on.
Yeah.
You're hands on.
Yeah, the Pink Zone committee has been amazing since I've been here, and my assistant coach Christina Harvey really is the spearhead of that, and she does an amazing job with our Pink Zone committee, and they just do an amazing work for an unbelievable cause. And You know, it's one of those games where it's every game that we play is a big game for us. You know what I mean? Just like the next game, Slippery Rock, it's a big game. But when you're playing, you know, in a pink zone game, and you're battling for people who are, you know, we wear those pink uniforms, and after the game, I try not to do it a whole lot in the beginning because it's an emotional thing, and but after the game, you know, I go around our locker room. We have 14 players in there, 3 coaches, that's 17 people, and I just said, hey, raise your hand if you've been touched by not just breast cancer but cancer, and 15 hands went up.
Out of 18, you said?
Out of 17.
Wow.
And you know, back when they started this, probably 2 hands would have went up.
Statistically speaking, yeah.
You know, and so it's a big game, and I know we didn't start off the way we wanted to in that game. And I talked to the team afterwards that it's every coach says, hey, you know, when you cross those lines, try not to let anything affect you, and that's what coaches say. That's the jargon. That's what we say. But it's easier said than done. And I've learned that, not the hard way, but I've learned that over the years that it affects you. Different things affect you. Class time, a fight with your mom or dad or boyfriend or whatever, that can affect you. And, you know, we do this little ceremonial walk where we have people in the stands come down, they hold up signs. And we had grandparents there. And these kids are hugging their grandparents who've battled this. And then you get caught in that emotion. I get emotional talking about it right now. And then you ask them to go play a game. On top of all that, just seeing, you know, their grandparents. And it's a tough thing. I was really proud of our ladies. You know, we didn't shoot the greatest that game, but we battled and we fought and we got things done. And it's always good to get a win. You know, every game it's always good to get a win. But on that day when you have a good crowd and people are there supporting what you're doing with the pink zone, it's just a good day all along. And I just want to, you know, put a shout out again to my assistant coach, Christina Harvey. She does an amazing job with that pink zone committee and all the ladies that work on that committee. They do a wonderful job, and you know, it's they don't do it to get notoriety. They don't do it. They do it because it's a labor of love and because they've been affected by it. And it's just a great cause, and we look forward to it every year.
It's certainly perspective in the middle of a long season. Right?
Oh yeah. It really does keep you grounded.
Sure. 62-53 victory at that point, and that was in the midst of that 3-game win streak. So
right.
I found this. You talked. There's no formula to win games. There's no exact formula, I should say.
No, I wish there was.
Now you entered in a little bit of fun, and that seemed to help out. Then. Yeah. I don't know, has it gotten away from you? Do you need to take some out for a couple games? Is that, you know what I mean? It's such a balancing act.
Yeah, it is. And it's one of those things where, you know, hey, part of, you know, the rules for a game, that, you know, one of the rules needs to be you have to have fun. But, you know, like I told the team, when you're not doing things well, it doesn't become fun.
It's got to be that focus. So
yeah,
you can't,
you can't be too loose. You need to be loose, but you can't be too loose. You can't be so tight that you're too tight. So it's that even balance, and then things have to go right, and you got to be able to refocus. You know, I think sometimes some of our bad plays continue to the next play, and the next play after that, when you need to regroup, snap out of it, you know, flush it, whatever you did, and get back into it so that things don't snowball, and because they can happen real quick. And
those effects, when things aren't going your way in the middle of a win streak, can be magnified because you got so used to getting all the bounces.
Yeah.
Oh, that's just not right.
And after a bad bounce, and then a turnover, and another bad bounce, that snowballs.
Right.
And you've got to be able to regroup. And we're only allowed, the NCAA only gives us so many timeouts. And you can't use them all. I mean, you can, but sometimes you just can't use them all. You know, you got to have a sign that this, and I've had signs that this team can regroup without me having to do that. Sometimes, you know, I have to call one just to try to get everybody settled down and try to break that momentum, whatever you want to call it.
Sure.
But you're right. It's one of those things where it can go bad quickly, just like it can go well quickly.
It's just easier to remember
swing.
the first part of that,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
It's tough to see.
Yeah.
But, I mean, okay, so that was Seton Hill, Edinburgh, which the Edinburgh win. I mean, gosh, we didn't even talk about that hardly. That's a great team. Not good.
Yeah, no, they're a very solid ball club, and to go beat them in their playpen, really happy with our performance.
Yeah.
We went out and we wanted to strike first and early and often, and we did just that.
And then, I know I'm bouncing all over the place, but then it was the Perico Pride of Erie game up at Mercyhurst, 72-66. It looks like a close score, and it was a close game.
Yeah, it was. We were right there, and leading at times, and then it gets some turnovers. You can. I think I was telling you off air. You can. We had. I think we had. Trying to look at the turnovers here. They scored 23 points off our turnovers, and you can be in games with turnovers. It's hard to win games with a lot of turnovers. You can be in them. We've been in a lot of games this year where we've had 18, 19, 20, 22, 23, 24, 25 turnovers. We're not going to win many of those. And so we need to cut that down. We need to stay a little more focused, be able to, if a play is called or a situation happens, we just don't have to go with that. If it's defended poorly or really good, then don't throw the pass. We got to be able to recognize that.
I keep doing this to you. I did it to you Saturday.
Yeah.
You didn't care then. You're not going to care now. But you got young ball handlers, so the fans. Our hope would be that they would mature and grow over time. But as a coach, you just you got a basketball player, and it would be doing a disservice to a young basketball player to go, well, they're young. They'll figure that out. Now, somebody's got to tell you. It's your job to coach them. That's your job.
No, that is it, and. We look at them now. They're not rookies anymore. They're second semester.
We're a lot of games in. I just did the math earlier.
Yeah, and we need to be able to make those adjustments. Good teams, good players are able to adapt and adjust. And there's times when we didn't. In the same course of the game, there's times when we did. And then there's other times where we try to force the issue, and it doesn't work out well for us.
Chelsea Rourke had 15 in that game. She shot well, 5 of 9. Sydney Mitchell had 11. Nikolikova 13, 5 of 9. Number 2 in all of Division II in field goal percentage.
Yeah.
I mean, she takes a lot of shots from in close, but there are plenty of post players, even at this level, that have a hard time locating the rim down there. So I mean,
no, absolutely. And then a lot of the time, there's somebody completely on you. And if it's not just one, it might be 2 people.
Yeah, you don't sneak that fact past the opposition that you're second in all of D2.
Yeah, no, that game, like I said, we had, it's a big game, it's a rivalry. You throw out records. Everybody wants to play, and like I said earlier, Mercyhurst at our press conference we had for the game, I said, hey, this Mercyhurst team is better than what their record shows, and we got to come ready to play. And I thought we played probably about 25 to 30 minutes of that game out of a 40-minute game. And then, turnovers got us a little bit and some poor decisions. And, we got to be able to regroup from that.
Boston McKinney had 9 that night. She had 9 as well over the weekend against Millersville, which led to... I always hope that I'm breaking this news to you, but you find out, everybody finds out everything now on Twitter right away. But Boston, if you haven't heard, Boston McKinney won another Freshman of the Week award, which la-di-da, it's just par for the course at this point.
Well,
right? No, that's incredible.
No, it is. It is, and we most of the time you do break it because sometimes I don't see it by then.
Thanks for saying that.
Whatever.
That's good.
Sometimes you do, but I did catch it. Social media today can be great for some things, and it can be absolutely terrible for other things.
Things grow legs fast. Huh?
Yeah, they do. But no, she came out hot in that game, and again, another one of those games where turnovers got us. They scored 12 points off our turnovers, and that's a 6-point loss. And we had those back. We had a lead, 7-point lead with 6:46 left in the fourth quarter, and turned the ball over like 3 times in a row. That doesn't help. And and then throughout that entire fourth quarter, I think we missed 7 shots that stats labeled as layups. So it's inside the paint, and we need to make those.
your team shot 57% from the floor in the opening half, 57% of the three-point attempts.
Yep.
I don't remember how many they took, but yeah, you had it. And then you're going to get hung up on the things you just mentioned, the shots in close, the turnovers. How hard is it to look past that and see all the good that can be taken from that game? That would be tough for me.
No, it is. It is tough because, you know, you don't want to travel any amount of distance and lose.
True.
And that's a game we needed to win. We need to win games. And when you shoot that well, you should be able to sustain and hold a lead. And that's where we have to be a little bit more mature, a little bit more composed, and take care of business. You know, but playing a team at their playpen is a little different. They shot the ball well that second half, and especially in the fourth quarter, and we didn't. Again, it's those things where a turnover in this possession can lead to a not so confident shot the next time down, or another turnover, or, you know, maybe not a great look at the rim. But we had a lot of really good looks looking back at it, and you know, can't really draw up much more to get, you know, 5-6 feet in.
Right.
We got to be able to hit those, and it's not just for our post players. Some of our guards driving to the hoop, we're not finishing at the rim. We didn't finish well that game, and when we did, and we had that 3-game win streak, we were finishing almost everything, and we didn't do that on Saturday.
It's funny because part of it was being unselfish, you know, passing up shots to get it off the teammates, which isn't the worst thing in the world. So that's why I say it'd be tough, because you can, and you need to, again, it'd be a disservice to ignore the things that need corrected, but there was a lot of good in that game. Your team's tough, too. I mean, Open Raider goes down. That's a tough kid.
Yeah, no, we have a great group, and I'm really happy. You know, I'm disappointed with some of our play at times, but they're, you know, they fight, they battle, and there's no quit, and that's something that I think every coach in the country would appreciate, and I know I sure do.
Coach, you got a battle coming up on Wednesday. It'll be at the Hammermill Center, 5:30 p.m. The Rock comes to town. Yeah. What do you think? What do you know? What have you seen?
You know, watching a bunch of film on them. Again, another team that's right above us in the standings. So it's the next big game. And they're a team that's better than what their record shows. They have some very talented young ladies, and the Patterson girl who can just knock down any type of shot with any amount of hands in her face. Hinderleiter, you talk about tough kids. I don't know if they get much tougher than her. She's just a beast. She attacks. They have a senior post in Morgan Henderson, who's a nice ball player. They bring some kids off the bench. They have a solid group. They have some really, really good players, and we really need to, again, take care of what we do. You know, do the little things and do them well, and let the offense work for us, because I think we're going to get some good looks at the basket, and we just got to stay focused and attack. And then on the defensive end, we just have to, you know, limit their shots, contest them, hard shot, one shot. You know, make them make a tough shot, contest it, and then box out, because they crash the boards. And we really need to limit that, because a lot of their rebounds are in that paint, and so their kids are going and getting and putting stick backs and different things like that. So we really need to limit.
He's Jim Brunelli, head coach of the Gannon Lady Knights. Good luck on Wednesday. We will be there as always. Coach, on a recent trip, your brother was in the stands, and you were nice enough to introduce me, and then when I think you went into the locker room, I turned around and said, well, who was a better basketball player?
Oh, that was at IUP, yeah.
And he said, me, no doubt. Do you agree?
Oh, no. I don't agree.
He said he could shoot the ball, but somebody had to get him the ball. Somebody had to get it to him.
Yeah, no.
You were on the same team?
We played, when I was a sophomore, I dressed varsity. So that was his senior year, so we got to play a little bit.
Jealous.
But we had a lot of backyard battles and different things like that. But I know I don't have to say anything. He knows who had a better shot. He knows the truth. And that's all I have to say about that.
Great stuff. Jim Brunelli, head coach, Gannon Lady Knights. Appreciate it.
All right, take care.